Good day, everyone. So today we'll discuss about addition and subtraction of decimals. But before we proceed, let us have a short review. So let me ask you about decimals. Did you remember about decimals? So if not, we will have a short review about this topic. So decimal number, it is a fraction whose denominator is the power of 10. So like for example, we have 7/10. So in decimal, we have to write 0.7. But that is not the proper way of reading this number. So the dot, as you can see here, the dot is called decimal point and read as n. The decimal point separates the whole number part and the fractional part. So 0.7 can be read as 7/10. Alright? So another example. We have 5 and 8/10. So how do we write this in decimal? So we have 5.8. And how do we read this decimal? So first is we have 5. This is a whole number part. The dot here is a decimal point which is read as n. And then the number at the right side of the decimal point is a fractional part. Now, did you remember this illustration? This is a number chart. So as you can see, there are tens, ones, decimal point, tens, hundreds, and thousands. So just take note. The number or the place value at the left side of the decimal point is what we call ones. It starts with ones and then followed by tens and then so on and so forth. And at the right side of the decimal point starts with tens. So take note there is THS because this is a fractional part. So after tens, we have hundreds and then thousands and so on and so forth. So like for example, we have 52 and then the decimal point, then 4, 3, and 6. So how do we read this number? What is the proper way of reading this number? So we have 5. This is 52. Why? Why do we read this as 52? Did you remember that the place value of 5 is tens? So 5 is in the tens place. Now, 5 times 10 is 50 and then 2 is in the ones place. So 50 plus 2 is 52. So that's the reason why we read this as 52. And then the decimal point can be read as n. Next, we have 4, 3, and 6. So 4, 3, and 6, first is we read this as whole number. So we can read this as 436. And then after that, do not forget to mention the place value of the last digit. So what is our last digit? Our last digit is 6. And what is the place value of 6? The place value of 6 is thousands. So that's why we have to mention the place value which is thousands because the place value of the last digit is thousands. So what is the proper way of reading this number? So we will have to read this as 52 and 436 thousands. Yan. Kasi minsan nagkakamali ang iba, sinasabi nila kaagad. Usually kasi ang ginagamit natin, binabasa lang natin kaagad na 52.436. But the proper way of reading this is 52 and then the decimal point is and then read the fractional part as what you read in the whole number 436 and then mention the place value of the last digit. The last digit is 6, the place value is thousands, so we have 436 thousands. So the proper way again is 52 and 436 thousands. Is that clear? All right. So are you ready with our lesson this day? Okay, now so let's start with addition of decimals. So like for example, we have 4 and 382 thousandths plus 45 hundredths. The first step in adding decimal, we have to write the numbers in columns so that the decimal points are aligned. So 4 and 382 thousandths plus 45 hundredths. We have to align the decimal point and then the tenths, hundredths, thousands, so on and so forth. Then the second step, check the number of digits. If the number of digits are not the same, add or affix 0 or zeros in the right side of a decimal number to complete the digits. So take note that adding zeros does not change its value. So our example here, we have 3 digits in decimal part. So 4 and 382 thousandths. While in the second number or second decimal, we have only 2 digits in decimal part. So this is 45 hundredths. So what shall we do? We have to add 0. Right. So it becomes 450 thousandths. Now our addends is 4 and 382 thousandths plus 450 thousandths. Next, add as you would add with whole numbers. So begin at the right and move left. Regroup if necessary. So we have 4 and 382 thousandths plus 450 thousandths. Let us start adding in the rightmost part. So the rightmost part of our addends are 2 and 0. So 2 plus 0 equals 2. And then next is 8 plus 5 is 13. So how do we write 13? We have to regroup, bring down 3, and then we have to carry 1. So 8 plus 5 is 13, bring down 3, and carry 1. Then 1 plus 3 equals 4, plus 4 equals 8. And 4 plus 0 is 4. Then put decimal point to our sum. Don't forget to align the decimal point from addends to the sum. Okay, so place the decimal point in the sum in line with the decimal points of the addends. Another example, we have 35 plus 8,421 hundred thousands. So why do we read this 8,421 hundred thousands? So let us check the place value of the last digit. So 0 is tenths, 8 is hundreds, 4 is thousands, 2 is 10,000s, and 1 is 100,000s. So to read this, we have 8,421 hundred thousands. Now, how do we add this whole number and decimal? First is, we have to add zeros to the whole number, depending the number of the digits of the other addends. Okay, so 0 plus 1 is 1. 0 plus 1 equals 1. And then 0 plus 2 is 2. Then 0 plus 4 is 4. 0 plus 8 is 8. And then 0 plus 0 equals 0. Then 5 plus 0, 0. And then bring down 3. And then the last is put a decimal point aligned from addends to the sum. Right, our answer is 35 and 8,421 hundred thousands. So these decimals, 35 and 8,421 hundred thousands, they are called as addends. And 35 and 8,421 hundred thousands is our sum. Now, let us proceed to subtraction of decimals. So we have 3 and 654 thousands. Okay, so why do we read this 3 and 654 thousands? So let us check first the place value of these digits. So we have 6 the tenths, 5 is hundreds, and then 4 is thousands. Then to read this 3 and 654, then the place value of the last digit is thousands. Kaya 3 and 654 thousands. Minus 1 and 24 hundreds. Right. So did you notice that the subtrahend, did you notice that the subtrahend has only two decimal part or two digits in the decimal part, while the minuend has three digits in the decimal part. So what shall we do? We have to write the minuend 3 and 654 thousands. Next is minus, then write the subtrahend with 0 at the last digit. So 1 and 240 thousands. We have to affix 0. Alright, so this is a subtrahend. And then we have to subtract. 4 minus 0 is 4. 5 minus 4 is 1. 6 minus 2 is 4. And 3 minus 1 is 2. And then put a decimal point aligned from the minuend to subtrahend to the difference. Next is we have to subtract 5 and 6,245 ten thousands from 7 and 5 tenths. Now we have 7 and 5 tenths minus 5 and 6,245 ten thousands. Add zeros to the minuend depending upon the digits of the subtrahend. So 7 and 5,000, ten thousands. Minus 5 and 6,245, ten thousands. So how do we subtract 0? How do we subtract 5 from 0? Do you know how to do this? We cannot subtract 5 from 0. So in order to subtract, borrow 10 from the preceding digit. And then so 0 becomes 10. And then again, this digit, we have to borrow again to the preceding digit. It becomes also 9. Okay, why 9? Kasi nga, nahiram na ang 1 dito, nahiram na ng isang digit. Then ito naman, hihiram naman ng isa, magiging 10, minus 1 kasi nahiram din dito, magiging 9 ulit. And then 5, it becomes 4. Bakit? Kasi nanghiram na nga rin itong sumunod na digit from the preceding digit, which is 5. So 5 becomes 4. Ayan. So magiging ano siya? Magiging 4. Kaya lang, ang 4 hindi naman kayang bawasan ng 6. Hihiram naman siya dito sa 7. Kaya magiging 14. So 10 minus 5 is 5. Then 9 minus 4 is 5. 9 minus 2 is 7. And then 14 minus 6 is 8. And then 7 becomes 6. Bakit? Dahil nanghiram na ang 5 kanina sa 7. So it becomes 6. 6 minus 5 is 1. Then put a decimal point. Don't forget to align the decimal point of the subtrahend, minuend, and difference. So 7 and 5,000, ten thousands is our minuend. And 5 and 6,245, ten thousands is our subtrahend.
and 1 and 8,755 10,000s is our difference.